Welcome to the cafe. This is the basic Greek verb. This click pick will begin to introduce you to perhaps the biggest difference between Greek and English. In English, we make sense of words by how they come in a sentence, where they're located, and so forth. Greek, you make sense of words largely by the way the letters change at the ends of the words. Sound preposterous? You have no idea. You wait. You'll see. Chances are, if you're watching this click pick, you know English pretty well. Now, a lot of the rules of English are so ingrained in our brains that we don't really think about it. For example, we know that if I want to say, I say, we say, I say. Go with me here. I'll get to the point. So, I say. That's what we say in English. Now be patient. If we want to say, you say, we say, you say. This is very complicated. Hang with me, hang with me. And so, if we want to say, she say, we say, she say. Wrong. What's wrong with this sentence? Well, there should be an S on it. Let me even use a different color. She says. And of course, at this point, the foreign speaker, somebody maybe whose native language is Chinese, says, why is it she says? Where did the S come from? You silly English people. Where did the S come from? Well, the answer is that without even realizing it, when you learned English, you had put into your brain somewhere deep down that you say, I say, you say, you say, in fact, you say, we say, you say, they say, you say, y'all say, you say all kinds of say, but when you say she, you don't say she say, you say she says. And in fact, this is not only true for she says, but it's true for, miraculously, he says. What's going on? She says, he says, and it says. I just got a notice in the mail, and it says that you're fired. Anyway, what is this about this silly English language that adds an S when you're doing he, she, or it? This is a very small memory of what other languages do big time. If you know Spanish, yo hablo, tu hablas. You see how other languages change the endings at the end of, like, say, when it's in a different kind of situation. Let me explain what those situations are. When I say something, I is called speaking in the first person. Let me even put a one there. First person. First person is where the speaker is talking about him, herself. So I say. This is first person singular. We put a little S there for singular. Singular means one. So if I talk in Greek or in any language, frankly, about the first person singular, I'm talking about I. I walk, I jog, I run, I do this, I do that. That's first person, because I'm speaking, and singular, it's I. The plural of that is we say. So I is singular, we, because it's more than one, is plural, and I'll use a P for plural. Plural means more than one. So to summarize, we have in Greek singular and plural, just like we do in English. I say, we say, I is one person saying, we is more than one person saying. We have, that's called number, singular or plural. Greek also has first person, second person, and third person. We've introduced the first person. The first person is when it's told from the perspective of the speaker. I say, when there's only one, or we say, if there's more than one. That's called the first person. There is also, however, the second person. You say. This is from the perspective of someone else, not the speaker, but the person the speaker is talking to. You say. And there is both the singular, second person singular, you say, which is one person, one you saying, and there's also the plural, you say. And so in English, you can't tell. When someone says, you say this, you can't tell in English whether they mean only one person, one you, or more than one, y'all. Now, in the South, they can distinguish between first and second person. Y'all say. Now, of course, we're not going to put the all in there. But basically what I'm saying is that English doesn't distinguish when you see the word you, whether it's one or two. Greek will. Old English did, like if you read the King James, the difference between a thee and a thou and a you or a ye is the difference between, it's particularly between ye and thee, is the difference between one you or more than one you. Let's go back to the you rather than the y'all. So we have first person, I or we. We have second person, you or you. And then the third person is when you're talking about someone or about something. So I or we is the first person from the perspective of the speaker. You or you is from the perspective of the person you're talking to. And then the third person is what you're talking about. So he says, or she says, or it says. That's the singular. And then the plural is they say. We're talking about them now. So this is the basic concept of person, first person, second person, third person, and number, singular or plural. Now you're wondering, why is he telling me all this? The reason I'm telling you all this is because in Greek, the endings will change for every single one of these. Greek is more complicated than English is. In English, they're all I say, you say, we say, you say, they say. It's all say. Only if you're saying he says, or she says, or it says, that is only in the first person, only in the third person singular does English fiddle with the ending. Greek, unfortunately, will fiddle with all the endings. You will have a different letter or set of letters at the end of a Greek word, Greek verb. A verb is an action word or a being verb. It's the heart of a sentence. In Greek, the letters at the end of a verb will change every time, depending on whether it's first person singular, first person plural, etc. Let me show you what I mean in a very painful way. This is the Greek word luo. Can you pronounce it? Lambda, upsilon, omega. It has an acute accent when it's in its normal state. Not important, but luo. Luo. It means I destroy, which is of course a lovely Christian word to use for our basic verb. Maybe we're destroying sin or something like that. Anyway, this word, luo, does not mean just destroy. With this omega ending on the end, I know, me, the educated Greek student, I know that it's I destroy. That omega on the end is a little like the S on says, except here it tells me that it's I destroy. Now there is actually a word in Greek for I, ego, or ego, like ego, I, somebody who's egocentric, is focused on themselves. There is actually a Greek word for I. Greek doesn't have to use it, because that omega on the end of luo all by itself tells you that this is to be translated I destroy. Notice that one word in Greek is translated in this instance by two words in English. It's not going to be just look it up in the dictionary and get out your decoder ring and just give an English word for every Greek word. It doesn't work like that. Luo all by itself means I destroy, and I know the I because of the omega on the ending. Similarly, this word is pronounced lues. It's the same, see the diphthong A? It's the same word, destroy, but now I've changed the letters at the end. I've changed the ending. And I know that. I've memorized it. Ace means that the subject, that is, the word that goes with destroy, is you. You destroy. All by itself, that word, that second word, means you destroy. Notice that I'm basically reproducing my chart from the previous segment. This is second person singular, you, one you, destroy. And I know that it's you destroy without looking at any of the other words. There's a word for you singular. You don't have to have it, because this all by itself means you destroy. The third person singular, that is the one that goes with he, she, or it, is a little more complicated. Not in terms of how it looks. Lue means either a he destroys, or a she destroys, or an it destroys. Now, with luo, you knew it was I destroy. I. With lues, you knew it was you, singular, one you destroys. But with lue, it could be a lot of things. It could be Bob destroys, it could be Ken destroys, it could be global warming destroys, it could be Sally destroys, it could be lots of things. So lue a lot of times is going to have another word somewhere in the sentence or the context to tell you specifically who the he, who the she, who the it is. But lue all by itself tells you that it's either going to be a he or a she or an it that's destroying. That's the third person singular form. Now let's do the plurals. If luo is I destroy, and I know because the omega, and lues is you destroy, and I know because of the ace, and lue is either a he or a she or an it destroys because of the a, luamen is going to mean we destroy. By the way, the word can also mean loose. Don't question how loose and destroy fit together. Words don't have to make sense. So it could be either we loose or it could be we destroy. And I know that it's we because of the men ending there on the end. Luete is the second person plural ending. It's going to be y'all destroy. Well, not really. It's going to be you destroy. And I know, because I know Greek, it's going to be a bunch of yous, not just one you, but more than one you destroy. This is a nice little neat thing that Greek does that English doesn't do. So when Philippians says, Philippians 2, work out your salvation with fear and trembling, I know because of Greek that the you is plural. It's not about individuals as individuals hammering out the issues with God. It's about the community of faith, particularly the Philippian church, working out their salvation. So this is a nice little neat thing that Greek does. And I know because of the te ending that I'm looking at a you plural. And then luusi means they. And particularly the C ending is going to tell me that it's they destroy. Now again, there can be lots of theys. It can be elephants destroy. It can be carpet bombings destroy. Atomic bombs destroy. There's probably going to be a word in the sentence or in the context that will tell you who the they are. But if it's luusi, then it's going to be they, some they, destroy. See how this is a little different? Whereas in English there's only one form, she says, that has an extra S. In Greek the endings are going to change all over the place. That means it's going to take more brain cells. Let me say one more thing about this luusi, third person plural. Sometimes it puts a little cushion letter on the end called a movable nu. Movable because it doesn't have to be there. It's put there a lot of times just to make the transition between the next word better. So which is easier to say? Luusi anthropoi or luusinanthropoi? See, if you put an N there, a movable nu, which is completely meaningless, adds nothing to the meaning, it makes it flow better. So that sometimes Greek grammars put the nu in parentheses to tell you there could be a nu or there might not be. Deal with it. So there you have the basic Greek endings. So let's say we took luo, lues, lue, luamen, luete, usi out into the desert, and we fried them, and then we desiccated them, and we boiled them, and we just were left with the endings. Here I've put them here. A verb that ends in an O is going to be translated I. I, whatever the verb is. Similarly, ace, whatever the verb is. A, whatever the verb is going to be he, she, or it, whatever the verb is. verb men, we do whatever the verb is. Or te, y'all do whatever the verb is. Or usi, they do whatever the verb is. So, these are the endings. And I would go ahead and memorize these no matter whether you're on track 1 or track 2 because these are basic. O, ace, a, amen, etta, usi, or o, ace, a, men, te, si, however you want to remember it. Put it to tune. Jingle bells. O, ace, a, men, te, and usi. 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 However you want to do it, to remember them is your business. You can now, if you want to, get the click pick that has some basic vocabulary and some beginning sentences to work on, which basically are just a verb. Translate the verb. And you can spend, a hearty 10 minutes of your life, or however long you want, practicing these valuable principles. I told you Greek was weird, but you didn't believe me. Well, this concludes the basic Greek verb. If you'd like to try some exercises and learn some basic vocabulary, I'd be glad to take your money for that too. See you next time.